Hey there. You are watching another exciting episode of SEM Mondays. My name is Stephen Pollitt, and I am the creator of Source Energy Medicine. Today, in this Nugget of Source Energy Medicine Wisdom video, we are going to explore how understanding some basic principles of physics helps you to understand the exact nature of both dis-ease and well-being. When I talk about energy within the realm of source energy medicine, exactly what do I mean? How understanding calibrated energy helps you to understand how source energy medicine works and how it helps you. Why I adopted Dr. David Hawkins' scale of 0 to 1,000, how I use this scale, and why it's important to you. If you were to ask a current day physicist to explain the nature of our physical realm, they would likely offer an explanation similar to this. When a physicist takes matter and breaks it down into smaller and smaller and smaller parts, literally at the subatomic level, they get to the point where there is no matter. There are simply particles or waves of light and information. A sea of pure potentiality, as it's often described. And it's pure potentiality because it is those same particles or waves of light and information that appears in everything in our physical world. What separates one substance from another or one object from another is the way those particles or waves of light and information are structured, clustered, arranged, and vibrate. And they would be all of those things, structured, clustered, arranged, and vibrate differently in everything that we experience in our physical world. So the study of physical matter isn't so much a study of physical matter as it is a study of energy. And while all of that is endlessly fascinating to me, it doesn't help me to understand a vibrant, healthy tree versus a tree that is experiencing imbalance or serious dis-ease, or a tree that is literally dying. My research along these lines led me to the work of Dr. David Hawkins, who originated a scale to assess energy, to literally calibrate energy. And Dr. David Hawkins used a precise form of kinesiology, which you may have experienced at a chiropractor's office, where you would extend an arm and the practitioner would apply pressure to your arm to muscle test certain things. Dr. Hawkins used kinesiology to calibrate things, and he used a scale of 0 to 1,000 to do his assessment. I've adopted his scale primarily because on this scale there is a definitive line between that which is helpful and not helpful, and that is 200. So it's a scale of 0 to 1,000. It's a scale that's based on logarithms, which essentially means very small increases or decreases have significant, if not profound, impact. Now on the scale to 0 to 1,000, having that clear defining line between helpful and not helpful helps me to understand a vibrantly healthy tree from a tree that is experiencing dis-ease or is dying. You'll find that all dis-ease, all imbalance, all pathogens such as virus or unfriendly bacteria, they all would calibrate below 200. Dr. Hawkins described this 200 mark as below 200 would weaken one, and anything that calibrated above 200 would strengthen. So in the example of the two trees, the healthy, vibrant tree would calibrate well above 200, while the tree that was experiencing dis-ease and was dying would calibrate below 200. So in theory, if we were able to take the tree and transform the calibration of those particles or waves of light and information that are making up the tree from below 200 to above 200, essentially we would transform the expression of the tree, and over time the tree would likely become a strong, vibrant, healthy, vital tree. So to take this example one step further, if you are experiencing any area of physical challenge, for example, that means at least the physical aspect of your being is calibrated below 200 and in very close proximity to the challenges that you're experiencing. So there too, if we're able to transform the physical aspect of your being from wherever it is currently calibrated, but you're experiencing dis-ease, to an energy level above 200, and you are able to sustain that and to maintain that, the dis-ease cannot continue to express itself. Often when I hear the word energy, I think of physical energy, like how much gas do I have in my tank. Within the context of source energy medicine, when I refer to energy, I'm talking about calibrated energy. I'm talking about energy as it relates to Dr. Hawkins' scale of 0 to 1,000. Again, 200 is the dividing line between helpful and not helpful. So if I talk about the energy of the mental or emotional aspect of our being, I'm referring to calibrated energy and where it would be on that scale, where it would measure out or test on that scale. And there's no limit to what you could calibrate. You could calibrate a book or a video, or an herb or a supplement or a tea or a food or a restaurant or a person or different aspects of a person. Dr. Hawkins' research indicates that 87% of the human population calibrates below the weakening level of 200. And at first glance, it's a startling statistic, if not a statistic that would create intense, strong negative emotion. When I first read that statistic, it was overwhelming, and I was overwhelmed with sadness. And yet, when I look at the world around me, it helps me to understand the nature of the world that I live in. The gross majority of the population of the world still calibrates below the weakening level of 200, and in this case, Dr. Hawkins is calibrating consciousness. So if we look at the consciousness of the world that we live in and the consciousness of the world that we've lived in for the last couple of hundred years, it is completely fear-based. It is completely ego-driven. It is an existence that is very individualistic. And then that is expressed in ways that create a paradigm of there is not enough to go around for everyone. So we have those who have and those who have not. We have 1/6 of the population living on $1.25 or less a day. We have people starving around the world, even in the United States. When we have a sufficiency, actually a surplus of food, we have more than enough food to be able to feed every human on this planet. So the consciousness of the gross majority of the population of the planet, yes, is calibrated below 200, and it's data. It's the current state of being. One of the reasons why I literally bounce out of bed every day is because within source energy medicine, a big intention is to help us to transform the calibration of every aspect of our being from wherever it is that we are. And we don't have to know the exact number of where we're starting. You can simply take stock of your life, and if you have any dis-ease, any imbalance, any areas of insufficiency or lack, those aspects would be calibrated below 200. Source energy medicine's approach is really a wholesale kind of approach in that it transforms every aspect of our being, not just those aspects that are experiencing challenge, from wherever it is to calibration above 200. And thank God this is a scale that's based on logarithms, because the relatively small majority of the population that calibrate above 200 are able to counterbalance somewhat the gross majority that calibrate below 200. And with each of us who embark upon this journey of transformation and transform our consciousness and every aspect of our being from below 200 to above 200, we're contributing to that 13% that eventually would be 14% and then 16%. And this kind of transformation, because it's a scale that's based on logarithms, will get to a point where it's not just counterbalancing, just trying to keep us from destroying all our natural resources and each other in the process, but to the point where we can make significant positive change socially, economically, politically, in every regard. So in a sense, as I transform, as I literally heal myself, I am helping to create a brighter, more positive future for all of us. So I love that this is a natural side effect, a natural side benefit to doing this work, to healing myself. I often think this in of itself should be the goal, and yet I love that I am having a positive effect on global human consciousness as I heal myself. as I transform, balance, and restore every aspect of my life and being, and all of the areas of challenge, all of the areas of dis-ease, all of the areas that I'm experiencing lack or insufficiency. So my focus is each and every day, I know if I can simply help just one person to get this, to really understand the basic concept, and then to take action to transform every aspect of their life and being, eventually we'll get to the point where we're not just counterbalancing, we're outweighing and then grossly outweighing all of the lower density or slower consciousness, to the point where the slower density will either come along for the transformative process or it will go away. We will get to the point where there will be so much light on this planet that there will be no room for darkness. Paramahansa Yogananda said that you cannot chase out darkness with a baseball bat. You have to bring light to it. And my life, I often look at my life as before Source Energy Medicine and after, and my life before Source Energy Medicine was experienced at an energy level below 200 from my birth in 1961 all the way up until 2004. And then my life from 2004 to today has been at an energy level above 200, with the exception of a few minor setbacks in the early years while my energy level was still unstable. And this is one of the main reasons why since 2005 I have not experienced any physical challenges whatsoever, whether the challenges were thought to be genetic or acquired. And I have experienced a greater balance, efficiency, and abundance in every aspect of my life. This is the key contributing factor to long-term positive results. If for some reason the physical aspect of my being were to suddenly be calibrated at 80 and stay there, then the potential for experiencing imbalance or dis-ease or disharmony would become possible. But as long as I sustain an energy level far above 200, there is no possibility for dis-ease. I haven't had a cold or a flu or any of those things since 2005, and my life before 2005 was I would get every cold or flu that came along. When I was a child, I was described as having a weak constitution and sickly. I would get every cold or flu, and often my siblings didn't get those, and even the ones that they got, I seemed to experience like 10 times worse in terms of the symptoms, and it seemed to take a lot longer for me to recover. So we'll continue this conversation, but this lays the foundation of looking at physical matter, breaking it down into subatomic particles, making sense of those subatomic particles, why it is that one tree is healthy, one tree is not, when they have the same particles or waves of light and information. And of course, the answer is that they are vibrating differently. They're vibrating, if we were to use the Hawkins scale, the vibrant, healthy tree is calibrated far above 200, and the tree that is dis-eased and is dying would simply calibrate below 200.